I'm still recovering after pneumonia. I've started to skip rope in my attempt to train back to the levels before this happening. I'm still bad. I'm in the early stages of rehabilitation. I tested myself. I think my lungs capacity is somewhere at 1/3 than usual in certain situations, which is bad. One by one, I will try to invest as much time and energy into a full rehabilitation. I might cough during the recording. Please bear with me. I received a comment on the channel. It makes me happy. I'm not getting that many comments. This channel is small, is niche. It organically grows. I'm not doing anything to promote or to push you to subscribe or to comment. It's up to you if you feel the need to do that. Other than the logo, I'm not putting anything on the video. I got this comment. It makes me very happy. Interesting comment. Via to the channel, she's saying almost any Via Ferrata set which is on the EU market has a resting loop on itself. What she's speaking about is this loop here. And this loop is part of the shock absorber of the Via Ferrata set. There is a loop above the shock absorber, and this is the place where you should put your carabiner for clipping yourself when resting, or the whole resting system. Practically, she's saying that this loop here, which is integral part of the shock absorber of your Via Ferrata set, is the place where you should clip a carabiner that you should use for resting. She's also saying that if you have a resting system like this, you should clip it through the loop of the shock absorber as well. Good. It is usually described in the manual for the set. Interesting affirmation. I will check as many manuals coming from all these manufacturers out of curiosity to see if they describe this case scenario here. Attaching the resting system directly to your harness could be dangerous, and it does not make any sense. Interesting statement. Interesting. We'll speak in a moment about it. Also, there is no need to put the carabiners on the cable in opposite direction if you have a Via Ferrata set with this type of carabiners which you use, the double palm lock. Practically what she is saying is that for this type of carabiner, double palm, you don't need to clip them in opposite direction. Clipping opposite direction is must when you have carabiner with any other type of lock, but most of manufacturers use this type because it is the most user-friendly and there is less space to make a mistake. I have little disagreements here for sure. One of them is companies maybe are idealistic up to a point. For sure, they're not altruistic. So what drives them? Yes, it might be innovation culture, their loyal customers, but what drives companies is profit. And profit comes through capturing economics for plus. So that's that. Some people will buy this because it's cheaper or because they prefer it. Some will buy this. Yes, this is the most efficient maybe, but no company will sacrifice profits to altruistically help humanity. I don't see it. I didn't see it happening up to this point. I don't see it happening from now onwards in our society. This is my opinion. I have disagreements with this statement, and it's not the only one. She's saying that for this type of carabiner is no need to clip in opposite directions. Now, the point of clipping in opposite directions is that what can happen when you unclip to move above the anchor point is that both, if they are in the same direction, it can happen that by mistake you unclip both. And in that moment, you are no longer connected. Also, by making the cognitive effort to clipping them in opposite direction, it makes you think differently, and human error can be avoided. Because if you clip them in the same direction, maybe you make a mistake and you actually don't clip this one and clip this one, or maybe by clipping them in the same direction creates weak points. Also, let's suppose you fall. If they are in the same direction, based on the type of the cable and installation, German style, French style, when you land at the breaking point, being in the same direction, you put the same stress on their axis, and maybe this will make them give up. If they are in opposite directions, then you increase, in my opinion, by double the chances of not breaking, because yes, one axis is weaker, but you have this other one here, which is stronger. So yes, interesting statement she's making here. So she was saying clipping opposite direction is must when you have carabiner with any other type of lock, but most of manufacturers use this type because it's the most user-friendly and there is less space to make a mistake. Again, it is not the reality we are living. And last but not least, you should wear the chest strap, at least if you are climbing. I presume she's insinuating the chest harness. If you are climbing with your backpack or climbing something difficult where is bigger chance to fall. Well, I've seen people falling on easy routes, and you never know what can happen there. Good. Thank you for the comment. Very good comment. I love when I can get into constructive, interesting debates. This comment opens for debate. Thank you for it. I hope what I'm doing now, helps you, the viewer. As you can see, this is a very small channel, growing organically, very slowly. I get a like weekly, and it makes me happy when I see it. I get a comment from time to time. It is true that now I don't have ability to post on the channel. Hopefully soon things will change for the better. You don't want to know what happened to me for the past year. It was so bad, so harsh. I'm still here, and I still plan on my own resources and time to do this voluntarily with no expectation other than hopefully share with you something that might help you. The loop. In my opinion, this is not a rest loop. This is just a loop on the shock absorber of the Via Ferrata set. Is there a benefit of putting a carabiner here and using this setup as you're resting? In my opinion, the only benefit here is it keeps the whole system simple and cheap, because you only pay for the Via Ferrata set and then for an extra carabiner that you then connect here to the loop. And here you have it. This is your resting. Let's try it on a different Via Ferrata set. So this is that. Yes, interesting. Maybe it helps, maybe it's not that practical. And we have here from Petzl. Well, this one comes actually with a rest loop, but let's try this loop here. See how it goes. Again, maybe it works, maybe not. For sure, this will work better. I don't have an opinion. I know what I'm using for myself, and I will explain in a moment why. But when it comes to this statement here, yes, why not? If this is what works for you, I believe most important is to have something to aid yourself and properly rest than not to have it. Why I don't recommend resting on the Via Ferrata set itself is because these elasticated arms that force you practically to go down on the Via Ferrata. On system with an added carabiner like this, you clip it, and that's that. You are there. It might be that people will say, well, if you clip a carabiner here, you get the benefit of a shock absorber. I disagree with this affirmation for the simple fact that when it comes to resting, there is no falling implied. The expectation is to not fall at all. If it happens, if you fall, it means you did it wrong, because if you properly clip yourself for resting, again, there should be no falling, and the whole position of yours should be static. So leveraging the shock absorber doesn't happen because you never fall. And again, let's suppose you lose equilibrium, you lose control, and you slide, you fall. It is a static fall, no? Because you are clipped onto a static point of the Via Ferrata. So, yes, I don't believe the shock absorber here helps with anything. Now, what she's saying in the comment, actually, and it is interesting, is that attaching the resting system directly to your harness could be dangerous, and it does not make any sense. Well, if you clip this carabiner to the belay loop of the sitting harness, it is not practical, because it makes it very difficult to clip yourself. In reality, in my opinion, it's not that practical to use this loop as well, because you don't have too much wiggle room, and it forces you to to extra effort on the Via Ferrata up to the point when you clip yourself. Let me explain. If you use something like this, which is super predictable, it has static length, then you have these two arms here. This one is long, but not too long, that allows you to reach the point where you wanna clip yourself. From experience, when I need to rest most, and I'm happy to have such system with me, is when I get into trouble and I have to absolutely clip myself and to make sure I'm not falling. Having this length here helps me to find rapidly the best point without shifting my position from where I am, and I feel I lose control. On the other hand, if I start searching for a resting connection in normal, controllable situation, again, it helps because I don't have to move down or close too much to clip myself. I only have to grab it and find the point which is at my eye line, and from there, here I have it. If I would have used this one, this loop here, it forces me to move myself in closer to the connection point, and from there to connect myself. Now, where connecting here helps is in certain situations where you don't want to go too far away from the wall. And yes, that one can be a situation where you would prefer this. From my experience, this shorter arm here, after once connected to the belay loop of a sitting harness, it is plus minus identical in length with adding a carabiner to this loop here, which makes it the same case scenario, gives me the same benefits. She's saying that connecting this to the belay loop of your of your sitting harness makes no sense. Well, based on what? Because again, connecting this to the shock absorber, you should never fall. If you fall, it means you are utilizing this wrongly. And yes, you need, when falling 2 meters on the safety steel cable and brake, you need the shock absorber to deploy. Of course, you can misutilize a system like this and statically fall 2 meters and you'll suffer severe or terminal consequences, and you don't want that to happen. Good. Now, on bridges, for example, on horizontals, it is good to aid yourself with the resting system. Why? Because, for example, I've been in Austria on Via Ferrata. It has a horizontal overhang. You don't see what it is after it, and there is nothing below. So practically you'll do it with your arms. When I'm crossing that segment, if I clip the resting system as well, in case I lose control, yes, I'm somehow falling, but it is a static fall. The slack will be something like this, and from here will go and tension like this. It's not enough to feel something. So it's not stressing the safety system, it's not stressing your body. It is okay. If I will only go on that segment with the carabiners of the Via Ferrata set, clipping this will not be possible because it forces me to stay with my waistline close to the safety steel cable, which is not possible because this is plus minus with my arms. This is the distance. Imagine how can I transition there? Probably you can do it eventually. It ruins the experience. I was saying, if I will clip myself only with the lanyards, with the carabiners of the Via Ferrata set, and I lose control, and it can happen that I slip and lose control, and with my weight, it might be that the shock absorber will actually deploy. I will end below the line by 1.5 meters. From the tests I've done in the past, going back to the line, it is almost impossible. With my weight and with no other aiding element, it is very hard to lift myself on the lanyards of the Via Ferrata set. If this deploys by 0.5 meter, I will have to find, and remember, I will be suspended in the air because there is nothing under your feet to be able to go back to the safety steel cable. 1.5 meters below the safety steel cable makes it very difficult to recover. So for that situation, for sure, I will double, being a horizontal, remember, and no possibility of a dynamic fall. It is a static fall because, again, this is the maximum slack. So if I lose control, this will tension like this, and that's that. And this gives me the opportunity to actually cross that without being at risk. Of course, if I really want to push it, I will not connect this. I will record when I'm getting there. I will go, definitely I will go this year and do that Via Ferrata back again. If I want to push it to the maximum and practically stay suspended with my arms stretched, which is not recommended because from there I still have to go up because it is like 1 meter between the safety steel cable, 1 meter, 1.5 meters between the safety steel cable and the ledge, and then you have nothing. You do the segment, and then the ledge continues at the same level. If I extend my arms, I will still have to go back on the ledge. So it makes no sense to extend my arms fully other than maybe to impress you on YouTube, which I will not do. So this is how I will do it. And this is a case scenario where having a resting system like this will help. On bridges, you'll always see me using this as my redundancy. I will have the Via Ferrata set clipped, and then I will have the resting system, this long length of the Y. Why? Because and you never know what happens, I slip and lose control on that bridge, I don't want to fall below the cable. There is a video on the channel explaining how to recover if this should happen for you to fall from the bridge. I don't want to get into that situation. There is no incentive for me to expose myself that much or to put me through this type of situation. I love Via Ferrata. I'm going to lately and for the future, my plan is to go and spend more and more time on the Via Ferrata, because before I was rushing to climb them. Now I want to go and take my time and enjoy. What this means is I'm not going for the thrill of putting myself into danger. I'm going for the curiosity of resolving the complex exercises of difficult Via Ferrata, and then for enjoyment. I want to spend time. It is a good full body workout. It gives a perspective over the mountain completely different than when you are just hiking or mountaineering. So yes, I will never expose myself. Now, many people don't have the money to buy all this gear. And the question is, what should you do? Well, this is what you should do. This is a good system. It is a good system that covers you quite a bit. It gives you a lot of safety coverage for you to go out there and be safe in the majority of the cases. Of course, one condition here is for you to not attempt to climb a Via Ferrata that is way above your climbing skill level. If you do that, if you don't go way over your limit, then with a system like this, you should be safe, not a problem. When it comes to the carabiners, this is my recommendation, to clip them in opposite direction. I stick to that. I think each one of us should make a practice of it. I know it takes time. It takes a toll on you because you have to think. You always have to do it. When you unclip from different angles. I've seen on internet quite a lot. I think I have a video saved. I've seen people unclipping them at the same time, then clipping, like making the anchor point transition like this. Well, if you do that, you expose yourself to the possibility of dying on the Via Ferrata. The purpose of these two lanyards is to, if properly utilized, to keep you connected to the safety steel cable at all time with no exception. And the rule here is you connect yourself to the safety steel cable, and then when you do the anchor point transition, you only disconnect one. You clip it above the anchor or next to the anchor, and then you disconnect this and clip it. And at any time, you'll be clipped with at least one of these two arms. This is what makes Via Ferrata extremely safe. Again, don't fall on Via Ferrata because that one is dangerous. So my advice, opposite directions. Let's not think too much about it and just do it this way. Of course, it is faster, easier, more comfortable to just unclip both at the same time or keep them in the same direction. I had situation when I was doing it in the same direction when I unclipped one and this one touched the wall. I've touched with a finger here and it got disconnected as well. It can happen. It can happen with this type of carabiner as well. You might say, no, it doesn't, but yes, it does. And not all of us are experts. Not all of us are familiar with the equipment. Yes, maybe I, maybe she, maybe others are experienced and they know what they are doing. But remember, you or a large majority are for their first time on a Via Ferrata. And by the way, Via Ferrata opens doors to everyone. Anyone, literally, they can go up the couch, out the door, onto Via Ferrata.